Welcome back, everyone. Two local nonprofits are teaming up to support a unique program that teaches people with disabilities how to sail. Help Us Gather, aka HUG, is a Clearwater-based nonprofit that advocates for inclusion and connects people with disabilities to social events and activities.
And Sailability Tampa Bay shares the sport of sailing using adaptive equipment that even allows those in wheelchairs to helm a sailboat. And when that organization needed help staying afloat, Help Us Gather stepped right in. Ashley Richmond is the manager at Help Us Gather, and she joins us now. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you, ladies, very much for having me.
You're welcome. I know there are a lot of initiatives that HUG supports. Let's start with Sailability Tampa Bay. They had been on hiatus because they were facing some issues. Tell us how and why you stepped in.
Absolutely. So we've known about Sailability as a program for a long time because we work a lot in the community. We connect people with disabilities to social events, and we work with more than 85 amazing organizations in the Tampa Bay area. So when we had heard that Sailability couldn't operate, partially due to COVID-19 social distancing restrictions, but when those were lifted, they were still having financial issues and issues bringing volunteers back out. And so luckily, the founder of HUG also has a private family foundation where she was able to support Sailability with a $10,000 grant to get them back up and running again. So we're really excited, and HUG is partnering to host an event as well.
How many people does HUG support on average?
So what we do is twofold. In person, we serve hundreds of people at events each year, but online we serve about 3,000 people a month who come to our community calendars to get involved in the community. It's a shocking, sometimes statistics, that 76% of people with disabilities feel isolated and alone. So our goal is to make sure no one has to feel that way. Part of that is through events, but also through advocacy and making sure programs like this are highlighted and they get to stay afloat in the community. It matters.
And the difference that you're making in people's lives must be the most gratifying part of it for you. Talk about what you hear from the participants in your events.
Absolutely, yeah. Some of the families that we get, these individuals with disabilities are really isolated and have been sometimes for years. And they feel like they're at the end of their rope, and they get involved, they come to a few events, they get to know and meet a few friends, and sometimes that's all it takes. You can actually see it on not just the person's face, but their family. It's a sense of relief that's actually palpable and, like you said, really gratifying.
Sometimes I have an issue with the word disabled, and I want to just say different abled. People, they're still able to do so much, and to deny them is wrong. What can we do as a society to be more inclusive to everyone?
Absolutely, that is a great question. There are lots of things we can do in our daily lives. One thing that I really care about a lot is that a lot of the folks that we've talked with said, growing up, it was a common saying, if you don't know what to say, don't say anything at all, don't stare. But then we have an entire generation of people who are differently abled and feel ignored and isolated and invisible. So the biggest thing you can do is just to smile and treat someone like you would treat anyone else. If you're in a position in your company where you can hire someone with a disability, it's actually proven to be better for business, and people with disabilities research has proven that there are longer time employees, more dedicated employees. In schools, understanding that children with disabilities don't need to be isolated, but accommodated.
All good suggestions, and we can help organizations like Help Us Gather. Ashley Richmond, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Daytime, we'll be right back. Stick around.